All right, everyone. So I want to do a follow-up video for the last video that I did on the UK riots. I did a video just expressing my thoughts on the whole situation, and much of the video was me pontificating, and the rest of the video was me talking about actual situations that occurred in those riots. And the responses that I got were they were disturbing, but nothing unexpected. Nothing unexpected. Nothing. I knew that there were going to be people popping up justifying rioting, justifying looting, justifying the destruction of property, justifying being violent, justifying attacking police officers, because that is really the world that we're living in. And that really just presages the world that we are heading towards. We are heading towards really all of this way of thinking just getting worse and worse and worse and just growing like a cancer. There is a verse in the New Testament: lawlessness shall abound. Lawlessness shall abound. This is what Jesus prophesied. This is what Jesus warned us about. He said that the hearts of many will grow cold, and lawlessness shall abound. And that's what we are seeing. We are seeing lawlessness becoming more and more popular, accepted. What's also disturbing is how when you go onto social media, Twitter, Facebook, or when you go onto a comment section on YouTube, one thing that I've noticed is that the comments that are level-headed, the comments that have humanity, compassion, the comments that are balanced are a minority. They are a minority. And even if you look at my video on the UK riots, look at the comments. A lot of the comments are, Ted, you're wrong. What are you talking about? You're wrong. And I'm literally just condemning rioting. That's all I'm doing in the video. I'm condemning rioting, and I'm also giving some prognostication on the future. I'm saying this is what we should expect for the future. We should expect for tribalism to become more and more widespread. We should expect racism to become more common. And racism, really, if you think about it, and if you just observe a little bit, racism is already mainstream. It has returned to the mainstream. Well, I don't see it being expressed on CNN. I don't see it being expressed on MSNBC. What is the number one source that people go to for the news? The number one source that people are going to for the news is Twitter, now known as X. I keep calling it Twitter because I'm old school like that. But they call it X now. Maybe we should call it Twix. I don't really care. But people are going on to Twitter. In fact, a lot of people are just going to Twitter to not only look at the news, but they're going on to Twitter to watch videos. And more people are just uploading videos on Twitter. They're not necessarily uploading videos on YouTube because YouTube has gone very much... YouTube is pretty much controlled by the establishment. YouTube is just an outlet that's heavily manipulated, heavily tailored for a particular narrative. That is true. So a lot of people are going on to X to upload videos. But people are going on to X. And what do you see on X? What do you see on X? You see a lot of hatred towards Jews, a lot of people saying bad things about other races, a lot of just crazy tribalist stuff. So this is why I say that racism has returned to the mainstream, because the number one source for the news now, the number one source that people go to search the news, is literally filled chock full of anti-Semitism, racism, and all that stuff. So it has returned to the mainstream, and it's only going to get worse. And this is what I talked about in my last video. I was condemning rioting, and I was condemning racism. I was condemning violence. And people attack me for this. This is very disturbing. In fact, one guy even told me, he told me something like, look at what's going on, and don't look at the riots for your source. And I just told him, so deny reality. That's what you're telling me to do, to deny reality, because I see these riots and I say, oh, rioting is bad. Rioting is bad. Destroying property, attacking police officers. This is only going to lead to more and more anarchy, more and more lawlessness. And what's amazing is that conservatives love talking about how they're for law. They love talking about how they're for law and order. But when it comes to their anger, they don't mind breaking the law. They don't mind lawlessness, and they will in fact defend it. And they will say, well, the politicians get away with it. The evil politicians get away with it. They're evil. The politicians get away with things. Okay, fine. Politicians get away with things. But then they will go out and destroy someone's business, a business that he has worked much of his life for. And then you want to get away with it. You destroy a man's business. You try to burn down a hotel. You try to kill people. You attack police officers, and then you want to get away with it. So you want to get away with things. You want to get away with things. Do you see what we're talking about here? It's so dangerous to point to an evil to justify another evil. So if people are against evil, which they should be, we should all be against evil. If people are against evil, they should also be against pointing to an evil to justify another evil. Now, some of you guys will accuse me of being some kind of a left-winger or I don't know, progressive, cuck, race mixed mutt, treasonist, communist, Marxist, whatever, Californian. But here's the thing is, if you go to my YouTube channel, if you go to my other articles, have I ever promoted rioting in any way? I have done videos viciously, well, I shouldn't say viciously, but I have done videos, and with much energy in these videos, I have condemned rioting. I lashed out, heavily lashed out against the George Floyd riots. I was always against them. In fact, I did a whole video calling Anna Kasparian a stupid woman. You can find that one. And all of her fans came and attacked me. Anna Kasparian said, well, she's this left-winger. She's with the Young Turks. She's an Armenian woman who hangs out with the Young Turks. Whatever. Okay, I'm not going to get tribal here, but Anna Kasparian, she said, oh, I'm so shocked by all of the violence going on in California and the homelessness, and oh, I'm so shocked by the thievery and the shoplifting and all this stuff. And then she says, well, I voted for this law that would have made it simply a misdemeanor crime to steal things as long as you're stealing things that's worth, as long as all the things that you steal are worth under like 900 something bucks. So she's in favor for shoplifting as long as there's a limit to it. So she's in favor for shoplifting, but with a limit. So she's in favor for lawlessness. And I said, so you voted for this law in favor for shoplifting, and then you're surprised when there's all this shoplifting going on in California. I said, you're a stupid woman. So I attacked Anna Kasparian, and I called her all sorts of nasty things. And all of her fanboys came on my comment section, and they attacked me, and they called me a moron or whatever, and then that's fine. So those people attacked me because I attacked Anna Kasparian for voting for a law that makes little of the gravity of shoplifting. And those people attacked me. So I see right-wingers doing rioting, and they're looting, and they're attacking cops, and I'm saying, hey, I don't believe in having a double standard. So I didn't attack, but I talked about how I'm against rioting. No matter what the race of the rioter is, no matter what the political faction of the rioters, I condemn it. And what did you guys do? You guys attacked me. Oh, Theodore, wait, hold on. I thought we were against rioting? We're against rioting, right? There's a lady in England. I was looking at her today. Her name is Alex Phillips. She's with Brexit. She's with the whole Brexit movement. She's a part of that British right-wing circle of people. She's on British television, very popular amongst right-wingers. She's another provocateur. But I was listening to her today, and she said, well, the attack on the hotel, that was just awful and absolutely inexcusable. Oh, let me just hear that again. Absolutely inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. If you want to use it, if you want to speak proper English. Absolutely inexcusable. So if it's absolutely inexcusable, then why are right-wingers making excuses for it? It's absolutely inexcusable, right? So why are we making excuses? Why are we making excuses? Now, you could go to the George Floyd rioters, and they'll say, "Well, cops have done bad things," and they can point to you. They can point to you events of cops doing bad things. I don't know, planting drugs on people. I mean, there are cops who do bad. Oh, believe me, I know. They're a very small minority, but there have been cops who have done terrible things. I know. Doesn't excuse rioting. Does not help your cause. Doesn't help you. There's no excuse. And there was a case where these rioters, hundreds of them, came to this hotel. It was a Holiday Inn hotel, I believe. They lit a giant trash can on fire. You know those big trash cans that are on wheels? You can roll them like a cart. They lit this whole trash can on wheels on fire. Then they broke a window in the hotel. Then they pushed the trash can, the burning trash can, into the hotel with the hopes of setting the whole thing on fire. Now, they were human beings in that hotel. They were human beings in that hotel. That meant that in these people's minds, there was a desire to burn people alive. And they pushed that cart, that fiery cart, into the hotel, knowing full well that they could ignite the building on fire, knowing full well that people would have been burned alive if the fire had spread. So they have murder in their hearts, and they manifested that desire, that murderous desire, by their actions. So this is what we're dealing with here. They tried to trap the people inside the building. There was a migrant, and I want to show you guys this video. This is on Twitter here. There was a migrant man, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, people. There was a migrant man who was inside the building. He was trapped inside the building, and he was filming the mob who were outside of the building. He was filming them from inside the building. And there's a man looking at him. You can see the video here. There's a man looking at him, and he's all masked up. And he looks at the migrant. The masked man looks at the migrant, and he does this gesture of a beheading. Watch this. So these people are murderous. They're showing that they want to behead, slit people's throats. Like I said in my last video, what these people want is a French-style revolution, where you have beheadings and mass killings and the whole damn thing. That's what these people want. And if you want to justify that, then you're evil. There's no other argument that I have except that you are evil and wicked. Now, there's another thing that I want to show you guys, and this is where things really get dirty. Let's look at the comments. Let's look at these comments, everyone, okay? All right, let me just make sure that you guys can see these. Okay, yeah, you can see them. Maybe they can find a safe haven in their home country. Oh, no, maybe they should leave. They should fear us. British tolerance has expired. And look at this dude's profile picture. You see the profile picture? What does that look like to you? I think back in World War II, we fought on the wrong side. You know, mate, we should have helped the Nazis defeat the Marxists, and that would have been a better idea. Now, so LARPing as Hitler, okay, very, very. They're very exemplary citizens here. Yeah, that's terrible. This is an American, by the way, and Americans love this type of stuff. A lot of Americans, I think, look at right-wing violence, and it's like a wet dream for them. I really believe that. I just can't help but believe that, because every time you see massive right-wing violence happening, you always have tons of Americans on Twitter talking about how much they should have thought about this before coming to another person's country, or well, this is what happens when you have immigration, or Oh yeah! Don't forget the waves of people with Israeli flags next to their names, justifying mass murder. Yeah, we've seen this before. Yeah, that's terrible. All the Brits should just keep quiet and let the imported men rape and kill innocent women and children. Now, you see, here's the problem with this way of thinking, my friends. The problem is violence is done against innocent people, and then they say, well, it's because of rapes and murders. I thought Americans were supposed to be about individualism. I thought Westerners were supposed to be about individualism. So if somebody commits a rape and a murder, that person really should be given capital punishment. But the English are against capital punishment, so they don't mind imposing softer punishment on people who do egregious crimes. But the thing is that when someone commits a crime and they're a part of a minority ethnic group, automatically anyone who's a member of a minority ethnic group is lumped in together with the bad people. So if a poor Middle Eastern guy gets attacked and his business is burned to ashes, well, you should have thought about that. Are you saying that English people have to be tolerating rape and murder? No one's saying that people should be tolerating rape and murder. But why the hell are you saying that we should be tolerating, or people should be tolerating, mobs burning down people's businesses? Now, if it's okay to commit violence because some members of an ethnic group has done violence, then what you're saying is it's okay for Middle Eastern people in the UK to then be violent against English people because, hey, are we supposed to tolerate mobs of righties burning down our businesses? This is the problem with reactionaryism and mob violence and mob thinking. It's that, see, people who think in a mob are they're very dumb people, all right? They're very dumb people, and they don't think about the future. They say they think about the future, but they really don't. Because if they thought about the future, then they wouldn't be fomenting a civil war or pushing for the idea of a civil war or having a wet dream about a civil war, because they would know that a civil war has all sorts of horrific consequences. I don't know, like a lot of people being killed. Mass deportation now. Okay, this is very typical. Sounds scary, but I leave. Now you got a guy here. You got the Palestinian flag. It looks like he's got the flag of Iraq or Syria. Scotland. You got the flag of Scotland. And he says, what an embarrassing time in UK history, which is rather ironic since these racist mobs. So this guy has some humanity. You know who else was scared? The 3 little girls killed by one of these assholes and the thousands of... My God. What does the dude in the building have to do with the 3 little girls being murdered? What does the poor Middle Eastern dude who lost his business have to do with the 3 little girls being killed? Well, where were they? They should have been there. Well, everyone should have been there then. Okay. Good. Good, this person says. They should go back home. Good. So, another American. What's up with Americans? Americans are freaking unhinged people. It's why I don't really leave the house too often, I'll be honest with you guys. You guys are unhinged. Sometimes, I swear to you, I leave at the house, I feel like I'm in a zoo. I'm not exaggerating. I don't know why anybody wants to move to the United States. It's a zoo. I went to this restaurant today, and a freaking homeless bum walks into the restaurant, and he's like, la, 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 la. Like, what? I feel like, is this dude gonna stab me or something? Like, oh my God. It's like not even, he doesn't even act like a human being, act like a goat. What is he saying? He's like bickering about something. Anyway, what is this? So you are trying to make a case against the native Brits who are pissed off and wanting their country back? Huh? So if I say, hey, I'm against murder and lighting people on fire, are you saying that British people can't defend themselves? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, let's just jump into Strawman Island here. I mean, really, so crazy. Save Europa. Is this an AI image or what? I don't know. This guy calls himself German Historical Education. Yes, not a Nazi. No way. No, there's no way this guy's a Nazi. Absolutely not. German Historical Education. Save Europa. Re-immigration is non-negotiable. Guys, this is the biggest source that people are going to for the news. I'm not joking. This is where people are going to for the news. This is where people are going. We're living in the Twilight Zone. This is horrifying. It is. It's horrifying. We're living in the Twilight Zone. We are living in a surreal nightmare. Oh my God. This guy says, "Can you imagine? This is scary." Yeah, I agree. There's some people with some reason, but oh my God, most people have zero reason. They're unhinged. And you know, it's amazing. When the George Floyd riots were happening, there were people online defending the rioting. And they were saying, well, cops are bad, and so this is what you get. This is what you get. It's like completely without reason. And you see that way of thinking like a cancer in the brains of the other side. So it's like we can't win. This is why, oh my God. This is why I say I don't pick a side. I don't, because both sides are insane. Even the people who are saying Christ is king, a lot of them are crazy. A lot of them are. Like, Christ is king, and then they like love Hitler or something. I'm not exaggerating. I do not pick a side because they're both insane. They're both insane. They're both confined in this weird dichotomy where if you're left-wing, then, okay, you got to be for defunding the police, for rioting. You got to, like, love Kamala Harris, even though she said, hey, let's go help the rioters. You got to help all that craziness. And then if you're a right-winger, that means, well, I'm pro-life. Okay, that's good. I'm for traditional marriage values. Okay, that's great. But then at the same time, I'm kind of in favor for right-wing rioting all of a sudden. Like, whoa, hold up. This is insane, guys. It's scary. It really is terrifying. It's so scary, guys, what I see happening. Now, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. You see, there's a lot of people are losing their attention spans. They are. They're totally losing their attention spans. They cannot read, really. They can't read. They can read, but they don't really want to actually wait for more facts to come in so that they can make a conclusion. I think Denzel Washington said something like, it's not really about truth anymore. It's about who reports first, who reports a story first. So the problem is when an event happens, you have to wait for the facts to come to you. And if you don't wait, then you start believing in rumors. And then when you believe in rumors, then if you want to be the first one to report on something, then you start reporting rumors, and you say, well, here's the facts, and what you're reporting is not really a fact. It's a rumor, and it's bullshit. And then misinformation comes in, and people get confused, and it's just very scary. So people don't, because of the way the internet is, information is traveling literally within seconds, within milliseconds. Within milliseconds, information is traveling all over the place. And so there's a lot of money to be made in media, in social media. I'm not even talking about mainstream media. I'm not even talking about the big alphabet media alphabet media companies. I'm talking about social media. There's a lot of money in social media. People have become millionaires through social media, reporting and things like that, and garnering a big audience and amassing a big following and getting lots of people to watch their stuff. And so they have a big interest in being first, because their business, social media business is highly competitive, because reporting information is spreading so fast. You're competing against other outlets that can post things within milliseconds. So a lot of these people, they want to be the first to report on something. They want to be the first one to this. Well, how do they do that? Well, they got to wait, and who did it, and who killed these 3 little girls, and I heard that it's a Syrian. Oh, damn, it was a Syrian. Oh, here it is, Syrian guy. And all the people on Twitter, and then they don't even check the source. I'll give you guys an example, okay? Here's an article here. It's from Institute for Strategic Dialogue. And I'm going to read to you guys some excerpts from this article. It talks about how misinformation helped to spark these riots in the UK. And it says here, self-described news outlets, self-described, so not official news outlets, self-described news outlets, news accounts, rapidly spread falsehoods around the perpetrator. This is about the 3 little girls who were murdered in Southport, and The murders have been used to justify rioting. One viral narrative falsely named the perpetrator as Ali al-Shaqati, a Muslim migrant new to the UK. This was later debunked by the police. And the police were right. And they always say that the police are evil and this and that. The police were right. The mob was wrong. But they don't give a shit. Because there's a saying that I heard. I think Winston Churchill said this. A lie will spread all around the world before the truth can get up out of bed and put its shoes on. Something like that. And it's so true. Lies spread so much faster. Now, why do lies spread faster? It's very obvious. Because it takes time to ascertain the truth. A lie, you can literally pull a lie out of your ass and just tell people bullshit. And then they believe you because they're idiots and they're evil and they're trigger happy and they're looking for a reason to get angry and start a riot. And that's how things work. Lawlessness shall abound. Lawlessness shall abound. So, overnight, this idea, this false report that some guy named Ali al-Shaqati did the stabbing and that he was a migrant and he traveled into the UK on a boat spread like wildfire. It went all over the place within hours. There is no Ali al-Shaqati. He doesn't exist. So if the mob, if these people that you love so much, who are doing property destruction and violence and attacking cops, if they're so smart, then why did they fall for this? This is like the people. What's the guy's name? There's a guy on Twitter who has a photo of himself holding an AR-15, Sam Hyde. This is like the idiots who, when a shooting happens, they go onto Twitter and somebody posts a photo of Sam Hyde holding a gun, and they say, and the guy, and the tweet will say, "Look, we found the shooter." And then you have these idiots who say, "Oh, look, here's the shooter. It's some Jewish guy with an AR-15. Like, that's Sam Hyde. He's a known troll. What are you talking about?" You're at that level of idiocy. You're at that tier level of being a moron. You're like yellow school bus, scholastic school bus, Mrs. Doubtfire, whatever level of being a moron. All right? So if these mobs don't have the attention span to actually look for facts or wait for the facts to come, why in the hell are you looking up to them? Why would you look up to people? Or why would you follow people who are so stupid? Because people are stupid and evil. And one thing I've noticed is that evil and stupidity, they're like hand in glove. What happens is that you have a small group of people who are very conniving, and they know how to manipulate the mob. And the mob is manipulated by this small group of people. So the hand is the manipulator. You're the glove. He's just fisting. He's just putting his hand right into you. That's what this guy's doing. And then you're the glove, and he's the hand, and he's just moving you around. That's what's happening. You guys can't be that dumb. This is like when the Dallas shooting happened. I remember back in, I think it was 2016, 2015, there was a shooting that happened in Dallas, Texas. Several officers, I think it was 5 police officers, were murdered by a black supremacist. And I did videos on the subject, and I said, this guy, and he followed this Afrocentric religion, African neo-paganism, and I did videos on it. This was years ago, and I said, this is evil, and just like I'm calling these bastards evil. I try to be consistent. And before the media told us who the shooter was, there were people on Twitter, I remember, posting a photo or a video of some random black dude on a street. You know, it was a big muscular black guy, and they're saying, "Oh, look, we found the shooter." And initially I thought, "Oh, they found him." You see, because at that time I was still kind of in the, what's the word? I was kind of like in the hamster wheel of social media. Like, oh, wow, this guy posted, oh, what, is this it? Oh, what the hell? Yeah, because I'm not a boomer, I'm a millennial, and I kind of grew up with the internet, not completely, but, you know, I've been using the internet since the 90s. Didn't take me that long to say, oh, some guy who calls himself Make America Great Reporting shouldn't be a reliable source. And he might be right a bunch of times, but he shouldn't be the source. There was no Ali al-Shaqati, but people believed in it. There was a rumor saying that the murder was done by a guy who got on a boat and he traveled to the UK and then they attacked a mosque. They attacked a mosque. They attacked a Middle Eastern guy's business. They burned the business. They are doing beheading gestures to people. They attacked hotels. They tried to light a whole hotel on fire, knowing that they could burn people alive, but they didn't give a damn. And then if you were to talk to these people, what would they tell you? Oh, well, we're tired of these people on boats coming in. And some guy in a boat came in and he killed the three. But that didn't happen. There wasn't a guy on a boat who came to the UK who stabbed 3 little girls. That didn't happen. There was no Ali al-Shaqati. He doesn't exist. He only existed in these people's heads. Then it turned out, well, actually, no, the real perpetrator was some guy, some Rwandan guy. He was a second-generation Rwandan, a second-generation whatever British citizen. His parents came here from Rwanda, blah, blah, blah. So then the argument shifted from migrants to people who are born here, but they're not really British, and they're ruining the society. But so let's justify rioting. Okay. I can read to you guys more about how this misinformation spread. I'll give you guys another example here. In a now deleted post, one ex-user shared a screenshot of a LinkedIn post from a man who claimed to be the parent of 2 children present at the attack, in which he alleged that the attacker was a migrant and advocated for closing the borders completely. This ex-user appears the first to falsely assert that the attacker's name was Ali al-Shaqati. He was on the MI6 watch list. This cannot be correct, as MI5 is the security agency responsible for domestic terrorism, and he was known to Liverpool Mental Health Services. He was an asylum seeker who came to UK by boat last year. So some random guy on Twitter says, oh, look, I got all the facts, and this guy came in by a boat. This guy was known by Liverpool, whatever, mental health services. This guy was known by MI5. He was this. I mean, this guy fabricated, some provocateur, could be a Mossad agent for all we know. Some guy fabricates an entire story, and instead of people saying, what's the source? No, you guys jump on it because you guys are like ravenous dogs. You're looking for a reason. Got our reason. I wish, and this is going to sound extremely extreme, but sometimes I really, really wish that there was no immigration to the UK. I really wish sometimes that the whole border of the UK was shut down. I really do wish sometimes that there were no immigrants in the United Kingdom. You know why? Because that way the English could go back to hating the Irish, and the Irish could go back to hating the English, and they could go back to hating the Scottish, and then it would just be like the old days. And then they would hate each other, and they would hate each other. But then they wouldn't be able to blame foreigners. Now, I don't wish that, but my point is, I wish that none of this ever happened. I wish that this immigration explosion, this wave of immigration didn't happen, so that all of this tribalism wouldn't happen. But the reality is, if you got rid of all the immigrants, then the English would go back to hating the Irish would go back to hating the English, the Scottish would go back to hating everyone else, and then we'd just be like going back to Braveheart days. And that's exactly what would happen. If you got rid of all the immigrants, the whole United Kingdom would just hate itself. It's like the Israelis, the Gazans were quite quiet for a while. Hamas was getting pretty quiet for a while, and what happened? The Israelis started hating each other. I'm guessing somebody over there in Mossad was like, these people getting a little too comfortable. Call up that Hananiah guy. So if people are so dumb to follow this misinformation, if they're so dumb and if their attention spans are so low that they can't just say, let's wait for the facts to come together. Why are you following these people? Why are you following these people? And the thing is that these false rumors, they spread like crazy. By 3 p.m. the day after the attack, the false name had received over 30,000 mentions on X alone from over 18,000 unique accounts. But you're going to say, well, Ted, that doesn't matter because it's a fact that that a lot of crime has been committed by non-whites and a lot of crime has been committed by foreigners and all this stuff. And I would say, you're right. A lot of crime has been committed by foreigners. A lot of crime has been committed by people who aren't white. And yeah, that's all a fact. But the fact is that you guys, rioters, you guys easily fall for false information. That is very dangerous because it means you guys are easily provoked, easily triggered by simply false rumors. That is very dangerous. By that logic, I can just make up a story, get a mob, and I don't know, I could make up a story and say Catholic churches are actually promoting the destruction of the Anglo-Saxon male, and they've been housing refugees. And I know for a fact that there's a circle of priests who have this insidious ideology, and they're hiding all these refugees. They're purposely hiding rapists. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, a bunch of Protestants in Belfast go around burning Catholic churches. It was a false rumor. But it doesn't matter if it's a false rumor because we know for a fact that Catholic churches are pro-refugee, so it doesn't really matter. But you guys easily fall for false information, and then you go out and commit violence. And how is that good? Obviously not good. Obviously. Now, another thing that I've been hearing a lot of is how, white people are the ones getting punished and foreigners are not really getting punished. And then you read about British prisons and how British prisons are just filled with people who aren't white. So apparently non-white people are getting arrested. In fact, I read this article, I think it was from May of this year, that said that British prisons have been so filled up with criminals that the report said that the British prison system only has about 1,000 prison cells left as of that report in May. I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of crime in the UK, and a lot of that crime is committed by people from immigrant backgrounds, people who are from, let's say, African backgrounds. It's a really big problem, guys. And I want to show you guys this chart here. Not this one. But I'll get to it real quick. We'll get to this article in a moment here, but I just want to show you guys something. This is pretty revealing. Now check this out. This is a report from the British police. This is from the official website of the British police, all right? It talks about arrests by ethnicity per 100,000 people. So in average, in the whole population of Great Britain, you have 11.2 arrests per 1,000 people, okay? If you break it down by race, Asian people, I don't know, this is like Chinese or East Asian, but anyway, regardless, it says in Asian people, it's 8.4 arrests per 1,000. Then we get to the Bangladeshis, it's 8.7 arrests per 1,000 people. Chinese people, very low, 2.8. Indian people, quite low, 4.5. Then we get to Pakistanis, and it gets pretty high, 11.3 arrests per 1,000 people. So, yeah, there's a big problem. There's a big problem of crime in the Pakistani demographic in Great Britain. This is true. I'm not going to deny it. Listen, guys, I'm not some lefty that's like, well, that's not true. The minorities don't commit crimes. No, it's very, very true, guys. In America, we have the same problems. It is a big-ass problem. And I really... I know this is going to sound very illiberal of me, but I really believe that we should just block the border. I think we should just block the border. Don't let anyone else come in. Venezuelans, Hondurans, whatever. Go back. Fix your own countries. Go back to Mexico. Go back. Stop coming. Stop coming here. Just stop. Because if we don't stop it, here's the thing: is you do have a lot of crime being done by Hispanic criminals in California. This is a fact. Hispanic criminals in Texas. It's a big problem. You have Venezuelans who have committed crimes. You have illegals who have come here and they have done terrible crimes. And it's a very dangerous journey. A lot of people have drowned in the Rio Grande. People get exploited. Women have been raped by coyotes. I mean, it's very, very horrific stuff. I think it's best that these people stay where they should stay in their own native countries. They should fix their own countries up. I think we're just all together, we're going to be better off. Another reason why I say that this should happen is because if this doesn't stop, you're going to have more and more racial tension. And then all you need is a bunch of provocateurs to make things worse. And you're going to have violence, racial violence. And I do not want to see that. I don't want to see that in the United States. I don't want to see it in Europe. It just breaks my heart, guys. It really does. I really do care about this subject. I really care. I really do. It just breaks my heart. It truly breaks my heart to see what the world is reducing itself to. And this whole idea of just bring them all into Europe, bring them in by the droves from Africa and Pakistan, and just take a bunch of people from Africa and park them in Ireland. And it's a terrible, terrible idea. It's a terrible, terrible idea. For one thing, Pakistani culture, African culture. Okay, these cultures, they don't really mix that well with European cultures. They just don't. There's two different cultures. They just don't mix well. Okay, you go to Pakistan, everyone's trying to scam you. People don't mind double crossing you. The problem with Pakistani society is that it's like Indian in society. It's a society of where scamming is considered to be okay. It's seen as a lucrative business. Then you go to the Western world, and people tend to be more law abiding. I mean, there's just the two cultures don't mix. All right, it's like oil. You know what I'm gonna say? Okay, terrible, terrible idea. Now, either it was a mistake, or it was a deliberate action that was done for a sinister conspiracy. Now, if it was done for a sinister conspiracy, what may that conspiracy be? If I had to guess, it would be to cause the very tensions that we see going on now. A lot of people say this on Twitter. I really wish people would show concrete evidence, like here's the document that shows that this is the plan. I think there is a conspiracy at hand. I can't prove it, but that's my hunch. I could be completely wrong, could be completely coincidental, but that's my hunch. Now, I really just wish that this whole immigration wave never happened. I know I said sometimes I wish. No, I actually wish it never happened. I really do. Even though I don't like racism and all that stuff, I just wish it didn't happen, because look at the tensions. Look at the problems. Here's the problem, all right? The problem is that people... Let me get my screen back up here because I'm just shifting off to a different topic here. The problem is that so many people refuse to be grateful. If a country opens its doors for you and you go into that country and you can get a job and you can go to the doctor and you can live a decent life, you should be happy. You should be content. The problem is people don't want to be content. The problem is that they have no gratitude. There's no gratitude. That's the problem. And you see this all throughout society. I know all of you guys have, and from one degree to another. I've helped people in my life who showed zero gratitude. Gratitude is something that's very rare nowadays. Very rare. There's very little gratitude nowadays. And people don't give a shit. They go to a different country and they come from some poor ass country, and their country is a third world country because, let's be honest, they have a society where being a scoundrel is considered a lucrative business. I mean, this is the problem. Listen, I've seen a lot of third world countries. I used to live in a third world country. All right? I lived in Mexico for over a year. I wasn't born there, but I lived there when I was in high school, so I kind of have an idea of the third world and how it is. Because once you've been to one third world country, you can see an overlap with the others. One thing I've noticed, all the third world countries have one thing in common, and that is there's a lack of trust between people. And the reason why there's a lack of trust is because in those societies, being kind of a scoundrel, not completely a scoundrel, but sort of a scoundrel, is seen as being smart. All right, a lot of people think this way in different countries. Oh, I'm smart because I call up elderly people who live in a first world country and I tell them that if they don't give me money, the IRS is going to go to their house and arrest them. And I'm smart. I was able to double cross people. You go to Mexico and almost all the cops are corrupt. They don't mind taking bribes. Mexico is such a corrupt society that go read about the formation of the Zetas. The Zetas basically were the ISIS of the Mexican cartel. The Zetas. I mean, they were worse than ISIS. They were butchering. I mean, it's horrific. I mean, I don't want to get into it. Really demonic stuff, hanging people from meat hooks, that sort of evil. And how did the Zetas form? The Zetas formed from a bunch of Mexicans who were members of the Mexican Special Forces, and they left the Mexican Special Forces and they joined the Zetas. So let me get this straight. They were in the Mexican Special Forces to fight for their country, to fight the cartels. Then the cartels came along and said, hey, listen, if you join us, because I think the Zetas were initially the arm of the Gulf cartel, if I'm not mistaken. So this cartel went to these Mexican Special Forces guys, and they said, hey, if you leave the Mexican military and join us, we'll pay you more money than the Mexican military. And these guys said, oh, okay. So it's not about fighting for your country. It's not about fighting against evil cartels. It's about money, and money comes before principles and morals. And so they joined this cartel. I think it was the Gulf cartel, or the Sinaloa, I think it was the Gulf cartel. They joined this cartel, and then they formed the arm wing of this cartel. Then they eventually split off and made their own thing, and then they were just butchering their own people. This can only happen in a society that is very, very corrupt, and in a society where, kind of being a scoundrel and getting some more money, even though you're doing something that's unprincipled and evil, is considered to be smart. Okay? So this is one thing I've noticed. So the problem is when you bring people from third world countries, you got to make sure that you're bringing in people who have the education, people who are well off, people who are from from an upper class. I mean, for the most part, this is what you should be doing if you don't want to bring in a lot of crime into your society. I'm not going to mince words with you guys. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and mince words. I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, everything the rioters have said is wrong, or everything they've said is false. They're all wrong. No, this doesn't exist. Evil that is done is usually done in under the pretext of something that actually happens. Evil is usually done. How do I say this? Evil is usually, almost always, evil is justified by pointing to facts. And to sit there and pretend that these facts don't exist is very dangerous. Because what happens is when you ignore the facts that these people are using to justify what they're doing, then they'll say, you see, the establishment is ignoring the facts, and this is why we're right, and you should follow us. So you just make everything worse. What needs to happen is moderate people need to come along and say, this is a problem, and they need to do so in a moderate way. They need to use words that are moderate. They need to speak in a balanced way. They need to speak in a cordial manner and not speak like a cringe lunatic. And then I think we would have better results, because then people would say, oh, look, here's a level-headed person who's not a freaking freak. He's not part of a member. He's not a part of some unhinged organization that calls itself, I don't know, Gays for Trump or something like that. He's not a weirdo, and it's much better that way. I mean, the center left, or the center liberals, whatever they call themselves, in Denmark, they did this. They said that they started focusing more on immigration because the far right in Denmark was rising up. So what happened was that the central, I guess they call themselves centrist, the center left party, or the center liberal party, came out and said, okay, we're going to focus more on immigration. And then they won. So that's what needs to be done. If you don't do this, then if the left wing is going to be a bunch of unhinged weirdos who have no brakes, then guess what? You're going to give more power to the far right. And then the thing is, like, you have these countries. So that's the thing, though, is that you have these immigrants, they go to these countries, a lot of them don't show gratitude, they act like punks and things like that, they flip off cops and do stuff like that. Like, what are you doing? You're just pissing people off. And I've said this multiple times, don't piss off the white man. Stop. Guys, let me tell you guys something. Let me tell you all something. I went to Idaho back in, 2012, 2013. I went to Idaho. Texans think that they're gun crazy. You ain't seen Idaho. You guys never seen Idaho. I was hanging out with a bunch of Idahoans for several days. Now, I'm not a white guy. I'm kind of mixed. I'm mixed with white. I got some Scottish in me and all that. My great-great-grandfather came from Scotland. He was an immigrant from the Shetland Islands and all that stuff. So my grandmother was Scottish, and she passed away, so that was the end of the people who are purely European in my family, at least in my immediate family. I have some relatives in California who are of that family, but we don't talk because they're a bunch of potheads. But I was hanging out with these Idahoans, and I'm not a white guy. But they didn't care. They were super cool, super polite. I was cool with them. We were all cool. These people got a lot of guns. These people got a lot of guns. And I was hanging out with this one dude. This dude had like 9 kids. I mean, he wasn't even Catholic. Traditional Protestant. Traditional Protestant. Guy had, okay, not 9, but he had about 6 kids. Which is a lot, right? A lot of kids. This guy had 6 kids. He had 6 kids. All of them had guns. All of them. This dude pulls out. He's like, you want to go out and shoot with me? I said, yeah, sure. So we go to his backyard. This guy got a big-ass backyard. He's got multiple acres. Living out in the middle of nowhere. This dude pulls out the biggest ass rifle I've ever seen in my life. 50 caliber rifle this guy pulls out. 50 caliber rifle. I mean, the bullets are like this big. He said it cost $5 a bullet, something like that. He had this log that was at a far distance, and the log was upright. And he said, the target is the log. Shoot the log. So we were shooting this log. I mean, this guy had a scope. I mean, it was like we were going Chris Kyle on this damn log. And we're shooting this log, and I'm hitting this damn log with the scope. I mean, the scope is that accurate. I'm hitting this damn log. And I'm thinking, hot damn, y'all want to piss these people off? You're not going to win. Why would you piss these? Don't piss. Listen, I'm against pissing people off. If they're armed, not armed, I'm against pissing people off. But you morons, you idiots, you guys think, see, you guys have been brainwashed because you watched films from the early 2000s that show, I don't know, big Shaq guy, really big, and the white guy is a nerd and all that stuff. And you all think that you're dealing with a bunch of weaklings. Stop pissing off white people. Stop doing it. Just stop it. Stop doing it. It's dangerous and it's stupid. But you guys keep doing it. You guys don't give a shit. You guys come across the border. Be nice. If people cross the border, let me tell you something. If people cross the border illegally and all they did was farm work and they were the coolest people ever, I don't think anybody would give a shit. That's not how a lot of people are. A lot of people, they see leniency as stupidity. They say, oh, these people are really nice. Like, I go to a place and I see people are really chill and nice. I say, wow, people here are really nice. I went to Spain back in 2015. Spanish people were super chill. I mean, super chill. I love Spain. Spain's a wonderful country. Spain is basically Mexico without the cartels. I was hanging out in Spain. I'm like, man, these people are really chill. I wouldn't mind living here. Super chill people. I'm not sitting there thinking, these people are really nice. Let's take advantage of them. I'm not thinking that way. But a lot of people think that way. And so what happens is that you have people who are ungrateful assholes and they're abusing the system, and then they commit crimes and all that, and they anger the white people. And then you have provocateurs who come along, and then they say, oh, let's go out and riot and do this, and let's go out and let's attack people, and let's attack innocent people, shop owners, and then you know what happens? It's ruined for all the good people. And evil is done. And blood is shed. And it's just wrong. It's wrong. Now let's go back to the chart. I kind of went on a tirade there, but this is one of those flow of conscience videos. Flow of consciousness videos. So let's look at this chart here, okay? I'll make myself a little bit bigger because this chart doesn't really need a whole lot of space. But let's look at this chart, okay? So we talked about the Pakistanis. Asian other. I don't know. What's Asian and then Asian other? Like, what the hell is this? But anyway, Asian other. I don't know. Is that Cambodian or something? 13.5 per 1,000. 13.5 arrests per 1,000 people. Okay, that's a lot. Now, black people. Here's what I don't understand. They got black. And then they got black African. Then they got black Caribbean. Then they got black other. So I'm guessing when they say black, it's talking about British black people. So people who have been there for generations and they're British Africans or whatever they call them. 20.4 arrests per 1,000. I mean, they beat the Pakistanis in crime. They're worse than the Pakistanis. 20.4 arrests per 1,000. That's a lot of arrests. Then you go to black African. 13.1 arrests per 1,000. That's a big deal, guys. That's pretty bad. Then you go to black Caribbean, 22.7. That is horrendous. 22.7 arrests per 1,000 people. Then you go to Black Other. I'm guessing Black Other is, I don't know what that is. What is it, like Madagascaran? I don't know. Madagascar? I have no idea. But here's what I'm looking at right here. 52, everyone. 52.4 arrests per 1,000. That is freaking humongous. That's horrendous. There's a lot of crime. Now you go down. This is what really got me. White Irish, 10.7 arrests per 1,000. Man, Irish people still committing crime. They still got the Irish mafia. I thought that Irish gangs was just something you heard about when watching a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio or something, like Gangs of New York. The Irish gangs, y'all. Some movie that you see, the story takes place in Boston. Mel Gibson's in it. All the Irish gangs, man. I'm from Boston, man. I'm part of the Irish mafia. I remember there was this girl in Oklahoma. She was the most wanted person in all of Oklahoma City. I kid you not. I watched a little video on her. It says she was a member of the Irish Mafia. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Irish Mafia in Oklahoma. Yeah, believe it. It's insane. They're still around. Irish people still getting arrested for crimes. They still got Irish gangs. So they got 10.7 Irish people getting arrested per 1,000 Irish people in the UK. We're not talking about the Republic of Ireland. We're talking about the UK. Arab people, that's my people for the most part, 4.8 arrests per 1,000. Man, Arab people ain't even commit. They're sitting there saying that Arab people committing all these crimes. Y'all, 4.8 arrests per 1,000. The Irish are more violent than we are. The Irish people are more violent than Arab people, than Middle Eastern people. Guys, I watch police videos every single day. I have watched, for years, I have watched hundreds of police videos. People getting arrested, people getting shot by cops, the whole thing. Do you know how many times I've seen Middle Eastern people getting shot or arrested by the cops? Probably like 3 times. All the other videos, it's either a Hispanic dude, or it's a black dude, or it's a white dude. If it's not a Hispanic, it's a black. If it's not a black, it's an Hispanic. If it's not one of those two, it's a white dude. And then once in a while, you'll see some Italian immigrant getting arrested, which is also pretty hilarious. Like the Italian mafia, like they're still going through Staten Island, Ellis Island, whatever it was called. But the Arab people, they're sitting there like all these Middle Eastern migrants, they're committing all the crimes. Y'all look, your own police records, 4.8 arrests per 1,000. So what does this show? Well, for one thing, it shows that there is a big problem with crime in minority areas, especially Pakistani and black, the black demographic in the United Kingdom, right? That's what it shows us. So a lot of these people who are angry about crime, they're not wrong. And for us to say that they're wrong is wrong. It's a mistake. We shouldn't be doing that. We should be understanding that these grievances are very real. But another thing that it shows us is that minorities do get arrested. And when they say that white people are getting arrested more than non-white people, well, then how the hell do you explain this? 52.4 arrests per 1,000 members of the black other demographic, whatever that means. And then when it goes to just white folks, it's 12.5 arrest. White, I'm guessing this means Anglo-Norman or whatever. It's a 12.5 arrests per 1,000. So if the number of people being arrested is an indication of the government hating that people, well, then if that's the case, then the government hates black people more than anyone else because they're the ones getting they're the ones getting arrested more. Now, I'm not saying that these people are being arrested unjustifiably. No, they're being arrested justifiably. Trust me, these people are doing crimes. They're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. But my point is that when these right-wingers say white people are getting arrested but non-white people aren't, that's just not true. Non-white people are getting arrested, and they're getting arrested more, for the most part, than white people. Not because of some conspiracy, but because of actual crimes that people are doing. And if I'm just to use your logic, if the numbers of arrests indicate how much the government hates you, well, then by that logic, the government hates black people because they're the ones getting arrested more than anyone in England. Now, with that said, they will say, well, look, rioters are getting arrested, and that means that the government hates the rioters or whatever. But look at this one here. Police detain over 100 pro-Palestine protesters. This was back in November of 2023. So is the government against Palestine? If the government is against Palestine, well, then the government is not really in favor for Middle Eastern people, because the Palestinian cause is, for the most part, it's a Middle Eastern cause. And apparently the government hates the Palestinian cause. So maybe the right-wing rioters should join forces with the pro-Palestine people, because apparently they're both hated by the government. Anyway, with that said, guys, we are heading towards lawlessness. That's what this means. There's nothing that I or you can do to stop it. The train has been set. We are heading towards hell. We're heading towards a nightmare. And it's not going to stop. You see this stuff on Twitter. You see how people are talking. And it's not just against non-white people. I mean, there's a lot of hatred against Jewish people. That hatred is rising up like crazy. You see it all over Twitter. All over it. And it's only going to get worse. Only going to get worse, guys. Anyway, lawlessness shall abound. You guys just heard some theology. God bless.